Today's November 24th. The non-tender deadline is come and gone. 3 players are gone along with it. We'll talk about those players and also another player that could be on the Pirates' list of targets. You're listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Yins, guys. Thanks for listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast, where we talk all about them Pittsburgh Pirates and that. My name is Josh, and I'm joined as always by my brother Jake. What's up, Jake?
How's it going, man?
Good, I think. Because Friday was rough.
Friday?
Thursday. Friday is Hawaiian Shirt Day. Thursday, we did a show that was bad. Not bad, right? But, You know, we went 25 minutes without anybody being able to hear Jake.
Right.
And I think we're good today.
Which isn't the worst thing in the world,
though. That's fair.
Worst things have happened.
Yeah, worst things have happened.
Didn't even have a head.
Petey didn't even have a head. I'm feeling great right now, right? I've got a bit of a cold. So I'm going to get through this thing. Hopefully not cough into the microphone. Hopefully not sniffle. I'm breathing real good right now. Just a little stuffed up. That must have started Thursday, Jake, because not only did I put a thumbnail out that had a picture of O'Neal Cruz and said Paul Skeens, so I missed that. We also didn't know. So Sherrod says, didn't notice as I watched it Friday because I had to go back in. Look at this. Here we go. Look how small that is. We can fix it on the fly, Jake. We can fix it on the fly.
Good thing you're good with tech.
How's that look?
Look at that.
Is that good? Fixed it on the fly. We're good to go.
Looks good.
Anyway, didn't notice it when he said that's because I went back in. I don't even think that I can do it that way, but I just did it that way. If somebody puts a long one in here, I don't know if it's going to go off the screen or not. So who knows? We'll see. What's done is done. New layout though. As you can see, had a kink with it already, but been working on this. It can change a little bit here, but it's a good start. So if you don't watch it on YouTube, go ahead. Anyway, I went back and edited it because I have redundancy in my recording. I had all of Jake's stuff recorded, so we were able to get it back up and we were good. I just uploaded it again and got Jake's stuff in there so you guys could hear what he thought about Alika Williams, which was also a mistake that I made on that show where I had some reason in my notes on our non-tender candidates. Instead of Alika Williams having a $775,000 projection for next season, which is pretty accurate. I think it's like set in stone, right? I had it as 1.3 million. I don't know where that number came from. I don't know how it got in the notes, but then when I was reading it, for some reason, my brain, which wasn't in, the best of states, must have somehow assumed arbitration. So I had said something in passing. It didn't really change what we were talking about, but I'd said something in passing about him going, he's certainly not going to arbitration. That's not a thing. So I just want to clear up something that I said that was completely false. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Yeah. I don't think anybody was upset. I did have a couple people message me and say, hey, where'd you get that number? Because that's not. Ethan, of course, our guy Ethan, the numbers guy, the guy that we rely on for a lot of stuff. Shout out Ethan Houlihan. Go follow his stuff. Trust me. I did not get that number from him. He clearly had 775 in his document, which I looked at. As soon as one person brought it up to me, I went to his page first. That was the first place I went. And then Ethan messaged me and said, just curious where you got that number. And I told him, I don't know. I think it might just be a mistake. So shout out Ethan. He's always on top of things and I appreciate that. And we had talked about it and I told him that I always appreciated him calling us out on stuff. So getting us setting us straight. That's how I like to say it. setting us straight on things that we say. So appreciate that. Go follow Ethan in whatever you follow and can follow him. But check him out because he's got the answers for us. Non-tender deadline was Friday. We kind of previewed that a little bit. We were talking about what we thought they were going to do. And we were pretty close. Yeah, I'd say we were pretty close.
Yeah.
So we had mentioned we want to get into it, or I'll tell you what, let me give it a little let me do my little overview thing that I've got to do, right? Got to do the things. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk, there was a trade-ish that the Pirates got. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the Roki Sasaki stuff and whether or not he's a target for the Pirates and what that would look like and what that would mean. And just kind of share our thoughts on that too, because apparently he's great. So I don't know. We'll get there. All right, let's get into, was there anything else? Did I miss anything else? Are we supposed to say anything else?
I don't think so.
It's Thanksgiving week. We'll talk about that at the end too.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I did have one more thing before we get started. I thought I wrote it down. Oh yeah. Paul Skeens 1/1 card. Oh, auto rookie. Here's card terms here. If you guys are not familiar, a Paul Skeens 1/1 rookie superfractor autograph. Superfractor. So there's all kinds of names for these things. So it was pulled an auto, and it is a 1/1 card. It is not the debut patch auto with the, that the Pirates in the offer and everybody's talking about, but it is a 1/1 Paul Skeens autograph card. So
legit.
That's legit. So keep ripping your packs. Did you get yours?
29th.
29th.
Good Friday.
I'm going to keep asking you about
Black Friday.
Black Friday. The opposite.
She's the opposite.
Not really, but anyway. Actually. Yeah, so okay, so we still got this Friday. Friday your packs are coming. All right. You saving any of those to open maybe on Saturday or Sunday? Maybe to end off our show or something, we can go, stop the recording, but maybe stick around on YouTube for the...
I don't know. Did you save any of yours?
No, but we did record every one that we opened in case.
Yeah.
The thing is like me and Katie were really in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like she wanted to be a part of it. And so we just didn't do it in this setting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We thought about going live, but it was also kind of like, yeah, we can't both go live with kids.
Right.
So we did it with some friends, like Jeff came over and we did the whole thing. You know what I mean? Together. Well, at least that one, the first packs, I don't remember. I already forgot, but we did record them. So anyway, yeah, crazy. Keep ripping them open. I don't know that I will. She's trying to talk me into it, but I'm kind of like, we've probably spent enough money.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at. We've probably spent enough. All right, let's get into it, Jake. Non-tender decisions Friday were Connor Joe, Hunter Stratton, and Bryan De La Cruz were non-tendered, making them free agents. There's been a lot of talk about Hunter Stratton. The plan is to just re-sign him to a minor league deal. He's injured right now. He probably will come back sometime in the middle of 2025. And so this is exactly what we talked about before. They could possibly non-tender him and re-sign him to a minor league deal, because they had done that with him before. So,
yeah.
And that's exactly what it sounds like. That's exactly what's going to happen. I mean, he's free to talk to anybody else as well. So I guess there's,
some potential risk there, but
some potential that he could go somewhere else. Other than that, we talked about it on Thursday. Connor Joe, Bryan De La Cruz. Are we excited about either of these two?
I don't say excited. Like, I just don't think it's definitely news. It's just not news. I don't know.
I made
I'm
the
just like,
case.
whatever.
I made the case on Thursday that as much as I was like, yeah, we probably should non-tender BDLC. I thought they wouldn't do this. I thought they would tender him.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I'm surprised.
I think I said last week I would have probably tendered him a contract.
I'm not recording. Gosh dang it.
But I also said I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't.
Sorry, live reaction. I wasn't recording. I am now. So how many minutes is that I'm going to have to go back and just re-record?
15.
Gosh. I'm
on a roll.
On a roll right now. Anyway, we're good now. It's recording. Everything's good. Yeah. And Connor Joe, I think is pretty obvious.
Yeah.
I think that what he had given us was good and it worked its course, right?
Yep. I'm not worried about that. You know, I mentioned something about a trade chip or whatever, but
yeah. Ultimately,
I'm also fine with this. I'm also fine with
ultimately, I think it was right about what you could have expected.
Yeah.
Right. And so, I think there was kind of no surprises there. David Bednar apparently offered a contract, so no news there until we get news. See if he accepts it. See if they go to arbitration. I'm going to guess they went lower than the projected 6.6. I'm going to guess that he's going to accept. That's where I'm at with it. And it's what I said before, right? What I say. I said somewhere between 5.5 and 6. If they go lower than 5.5, I think it'd be in his best interest to take it to arbitration.
Yeah.
But I could see him taking 5.5.
And that'd be fair.
But yeah. So the Pirates also acquired Peter Strzelecki from the Guardians. Have fun with that one. Strzelecki. Because it's the Z comes before the E, but it's pronounced Strzelecki. Just to note, this is another reliever who was DFA'd. They threw some cash. They got a player. I don't know that he'll last on the 40-man roster for the whole offseason, but it's one of those kind of deals, right?
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is he's got no minor league options left. So without minor league options left, Jake, I don't see this as very small sample at the major league level. It wasn't terrible last year, but it's a small sample nonetheless.
Yeah. They do this stuff every year.
Everybody,
all teams, every team that does it, you know, you pick up these random guys and if they stick, they stick. If you find somebody else, you're just like,
But the thing is the 40-man roster right now is at 36 players. So it's not like there's going to be a guy that's immediately going to push him off the roster. You know what I'm saying? And we've already said there's guys already that are on this roster who could go, and you could hold on to a reliever into spring training and see what he's like when you have guys like Ji-Hwan Bae and Alika Williams. And you know what I'm saying? Like there's guys on this roster. I mean, Joshua Palacios, like any one of these guys could be pushed out at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And you wouldn't, there's even some pitchers, who's the lefty? Wentz. You know what I mean? He's another one that you don't know. Yeah. You don't know where they're at. And we'll probably learn a little bit more at the beginning, right? Because their service time is going to be updated at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. And bullpen arms, you can never have too many.
No.
It's just whether or not he needs to hold that 40-man spot. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see as the offseason progresses.
So, with the decisions of Connor Joe and Bryan De La Cruz, did we learn anything here with the subtractions? That what I say, additions?
No, you didn't use either one of those terms.
Okay. Well, with them gone, it's great, dude. feeling great. With those guys gone, did we learn anything? Because one of the things that I said was that I didn't think they'd do it because he just traded people for him and he was going to try to get something out of him. But they made a decision to say we're not paying for him because we don't see him as a plan. Well, go ahead.
I think he didn't come right out and say it like the guy in Arizona. My bad. The Montgomery signing was bad. Like, what are you doing? No, he just said, we're just not tendering this guy a contract and we're going to move on. I made a mistake. It wasn't a great trade. Bad look on me. We're going to cut ties and go to the next. Luckily, we didn't give up anything crazy for him.
Right. Yeah, I know there were some guys who liked the pitcher that went out, but I mean, it's still so far away that it's fine. If he makes it to the majors now, there is no I told you so moment because this guy was still not a lock to be a major leaguer. So if he makes it to the major leagues and is a major league pitcher, I mean, you could credit the Marlins for the development at this point because he wasn't done yet. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like there was anything that you could say, well, we really ruined that trade. Well, maybe we wouldn't have developed him. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Or if he doesn't make it, then you could say like we would have developed him. But I don't know. Miami develops pitchers to get there too. They just get hurt once they're there.
Yeah.
But call out the Marlins zone here, but it's not really nice. But yeah, I mean, I think that there's the one aspect where you're saying, hey, my bad. This one didn't work out.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people would have said, yeah, we knew it wasn't going to from the very beginning. I think you thought it wasn't going to, first off, but yes, you know what I mean? There's a real, a lot of people. Well, I mean, I don't think anybody was really excited about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think I think our reaction on here was like, well, I mean, he's got power. Maybe that'll help. We need power. But it wasn't like it felt like no matter what, you were trying to convince yourself it was going to be help. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it wasn't.
It was a weird one for sure. It was one of those half in, half out on it.
Right. So on the flip side to that, there's that piece of it, but what about the piece about where they go from here? Did we learn anything there? I mean, Connor Joe and Bryan De La Cruz kind of makes you feel like this team's committed to bringing in another outfielder.
Yeah, I mean, you almost have to. Unless you're it'd be hard to put all your money on Sawinski turning everything around.
Right.
I mean, you and I are believers that he can. Yeah, we're known for being fans of Sawinski.
Sure.
But as a GM of the team, you're not putting all your cards on him.
I don't think you can. I think
you're right. I think he's looking to. We're almost positive we're going to bring somebody in.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's it. To me, that's what it looks like because I just don't know how you don't rely on him for sure. So you get to a point where you're saying, all right, well then they just told me that they're committed to bringing in at least one outfielder.
Yeah.
So then there's the question of, Bryan Reynolds staying in the outfield. Does he go to right? Does he go to left? Does it just depend on who they sign at that point? You know what I'm saying? I think now he's a left fielder. If you sign a right fielder, then he stays where he's at. If you sign a left fielder, then he goes to first. If you sign a first baseman, he stays out there. If you get a left fielder, he goes to right. Bryan Reynolds is going to be wherever he's needed to be.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good piece because he's probably in like the most difficult place right now. So the only thing you would be doing is, hey, if he goes to right field, if you're thinking about home games, which 81 of your games are at home, that arm's going to be great out there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, did he lead the league in assists, or at least he was still close? He was at the top somewhere.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
So, I mean, with Reynolds being somewhat versatile in the sense that he's willing to move to first base, then you kind of have a wide range. If you want to bring in two players, you can when you're talking about those positions.
Yeah. I kind of hope they move on it quick though. Or at least try to move on it. I'm not saying like within like the next couple of weeks or whatever, but go to the winter meetings, talk to people, throw your hat in the ring to any of these free agents and hopefully get like an idea of who you might bring in. And if he's going to move to first base, he can kind of start working on it.
My guess is he already is.
Sure.
My guess is he's already doing it. He was taking ground balls last year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I imagine he's already. If he doesn't move to first, like this is where I'm saying, like if he doesn't move to first, I could see them going on a short-term guy, like a 1 or 2 years on a first baseman, and then moving him there. Like, and you know what I'm saying? Like I don't think that you have to have a long. I think that's a good thing. I think right now you don't have to have a long-term answer at first base if it's not there. Like if you needed to go, if you needed to get to a place where, I don't know, right? If Santana has to be the guy that you sign, he's clearly not more than a 1-year deal guy, right? Yeah. So if that's where you have to go, if it has to be somebody like Paul Goldschmidt, he's probably only going to be a 1-year deal guy. Mm-hmm. Maybe 2, but probably a 1-year deal guy. I mean, we're seeing the decline. He's still better than anything we've had there, and he's a veteran leader who's been very good. So there is something there that you could see them go after a guy like that. Maybe a trade. I know that people have talked about a trade with Cleveland for Josh Naylor. That's a 1-year deal, essentially, because he's a free agent after next year. So you got all of those things as like some sort of scenario where even if you go short term at first base, that's okay. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Mike in the chat here says, come on, Bob, pony up for Christian Walker. Don't waste Paul's time here. So Christian Walker's see, look, I told you, Jake.
I was waiting for it.
Go ahead.
I don't know if pony up for Christian Walker is the right thing to say. I just don't. While I agree that Christian Walker addition to this team would be awesome, I don't know that you're gonna have to pony up. Like he's still a little bit aging too. He's 34.
Yeah, but he's still at a good age, right? He's still at a good age to bring him in as a first baseman. He's still got 3 straight Gold Gloves. His numbers have
still be awesome.
Right. His numbers have dipped a little bit, but not to the point where like last year he played a little bit less games. So you're going to see those the home runs go down below 30 and you can say like, "Oh, he's losing it." But like look at the games played too. They were less. And so, there's still there. He's still a well above average hitter. Mike, this is a good call. And I think that the other thing is that the penalty for signing somebody who accepted a qualifying offer is that you lose a draft pick, right? This year, you only lose a 3rd-round draft pick. So that incentive or that like lack of incentive is not that bad right now. So if you're ever a Pirates team who's going to make a play at a guy who declined a qualifying offer, this is the year to do it.
Yeah.
Because like, you can take that. For a guy like Christian Walker, you can take that. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Pirates if the Pirates will have a meeting with Christian Walker. Like, honestly, I would not be surprised. So Bleacher Report projected we would sign him for 3 years, $63 million. That seems high.
21 a year.
What's that?
21 a year.
Yeah, it seems a little bit high to me. Maybe not. Gosh, I don't know why your mic's doing that.
I feel like I don't know.
It ain't going to do it now.
I feel like 18, about where he would land.
Yeah, I mean, if you start him off at 23, 21, 19, then yeah, sure. Right?
Something like that. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's somebody that they could look at. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe it's that much. Maybe it is that much.
Yeah, and that would be ponying up. So I guess.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
That'd be the largest free agent contract in team history.
By a long shot. But I think that's the guy you go for when you do it.
Sure. On this market, this available free agent class, yeah. I'm with you.
Okay.
I just think he's I don't know. I don't
No, go ahead.
He solves our problems. He solves our problems for sure. I just think he might be just a smidge overrated. I don't know.
Really?
Just something that I don't know. I don't know what it is about me that thinks that. Like 3 straight gold gloves. Like I'm obviously fine with his defense. He's great first baseman. But I just don't know. I don't know anything about the guy as far as clubhouse and stuff like that. So I'm not sure they know more about it than I do. And I'll just trust their judgment on that. And be happy with it if they sign him for sure. Definitely not going to be upset. I just don't know if he's worth it quite that much. Maybe I'm just being oblivious to this one. I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the age would be the only thing that would make me say like I don't know about 20 every year, but
yeah,
if you balance it, I guess makes less as it goes. But it's first base. Carlos Santana's still doing this thing well beyond what a 3-year contract would have Walker here for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The other piece is that there are other teams that like him too. Like, the Yankees are going to go in on it. So much like the Russell Martin situation, you're going to have to outbid the Yankees to get a player like this right as you enter your competitive window.
I think the Yankees are going to focus more on Alonso.
I don't think they go for Alonso if they can land Soto.
True.
You know what I mean? I think this is their guy. I think if they lose out on Soto, I think they'll go after Alonso hard. And then that's when they'll get out of Walker, unless they miss out on him too.
Yeah.
But I think they're starting with Soto, and I think they'd like to do that in Walker. But we'll see. I mean, like I said, right now we don't have anybody really coming out and saying anything. So
right.
Wait till December 8th, right? That's when we're going to hear about everybody and everything. Because that's when everybody can see who everybody's talking to, and everybody's talking, and everything's out there in the open.
Where's that at this year? Is it in Nashville?
It's in Dallas.
It's in Dallas this year?
Yeah.
It moves around, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Making sure I wasn't saying something stupid here.
Yeah, it's in Dallas, and actually Katie and her family are going to the Cowboys game on, I think it's Monday Night Football, December 8th in Dallas. They're going to see the Cowboys and the Bengals. And just for the record, Katie and her dad, they're all Cowboys fans. So a collective, all the listeners boo. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Go ahead. So anyway, they're going down. They're going to this game. And I was like, maybe I will fly down with you and just go to winter meetings. But no,
right?
I'm not going to. I'm not going to. But that would have been, something that would have been like,
Yeah.
I'm not.
Heck yeah, dude.
Not going to. Don't want to. Don't want to. I just don't. I don't want to go anywhere. I've gone too many places this year. Burn out on going places.
Says nobody ever.
Says me. Says no. Anyway, let's not get into that. All right. So I don't know. Where are you at? Where are you at right now? I mean, every day things are going to change, right? Where are you at? You want a first baseman? You still want Reynolds going there? Do you?
That's kind of where I'm leaning. I kind of want to see Reynolds at first base. So maybe that's why I'm not as in on saying pony up and pay Christian Walker. It's just because I kind of want Reynolds to move there. I think it would fit him pretty well, and I think he'd play 162 games instead of 158, 159.
Yeah.
But it would keep his legs under him better. I think you would unlock a 30 home run guy.
Right.
And
yeah,
I
I
think
get that.
would make our team just as much better that adding Christian Walker would. And I have no doubts that he'd be able to play defense.
The only thing about that is, what would Christian Walker add to offense that you wouldn't be able to acquire in the outfield? You know what I'm saying? Because let's say you get a left fielder, and let's say you even land one of the guys that everybody seems to like, and let's just say either O'Neill or Conforto. Let's say one of those two guys. You land one of those two, and you land Christian Walker. And then Reynolds is playing either left or right, depending on where the comfort level of, like Conforto might be in right with Reynolds in left. You know what I mean? Whatever it looks like. And then you have Christian Walker at first, right? Let's say you do something like that. That team's way better than trying to find another outfielder that's going to be as good as what you're getting from Christian Walker, especially considering you're getting a Gold Glove first baseman. Like, I feel like if you can land one of those outfielders and you can land Walker, your team is going to be a lot better than, because you're probably not getting Conforto and O'Neill. Because they're that tier, right? Because you're going to say like Soto, and then there's what? Like Teoscar, and then there's like, when do you get to that? Probably right there. You get to O'Neill, Conforto territory. Let's say it's O'Neill. Think about this, Jake. Let's say it's Tyler O'Neill and Christian Walker. You've picked up two right-handed power hitters, which we don't have any of. And then you still have Reynolds, you still have Cruz, and really Reynolds is also, he's kind of a two-way power, like he's switch, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But you still have Cruz, you still, you know what I'm saying? You still can get somewhere there. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay. And what if somebody else, like that's good. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And any production you get out of any of the rest of that group that could possibly see time in the outfield, like Billy Cook, like even Nick York or Jack Sawinski, right? Which is our pick there. Yeah, there you go. Will Jack return to form? I sure hope so. You got a new hitting coach. We understand that the previous hitting coach was incompatible with Jack Sawinski. It ruined everything. Which never made sense to me, Jake.
Yeah. He hit 26 home runs one year, and then he's just.
But the thing is like, wasn't he the kind of hitter you thought Haynes would like? Because we talk about how Andy Haynes, like everybody on the team's watching strike three, and that happened to Jack a lot. But Jack also walked. He was on base, and he was looking for his pitch, and he hit his pitch well. He swung and missed a lot because he was trying to swing it, you know, once he got to two strikes, even if it's in the zone. Like, it just, you know, he did that a lot. That was part of the growth thing. Maybe he starts hitting that ball, and he hits 30 homers. Either way, you went into the offseason with this like plan to stop striking out. And then he comes back and he's swinging his swing rate early in the count skyrocketed. Like 20%, 30% higher. It was ridiculous. He's swinging at curveballs just because they're over the plate and trying to slap them to left field. His barrel rate went down. His hard hit rate went down. But boy, that strikeout rate went from 32% to 19.5%. What good did it do?
Right.
Keep hitting homers. Take the strikeouts.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Jack's a nice guy. He's not going to talk bad about anybody. He did not. I'll tell you this. He did not trust Haynes. He did not trust Haynes. And I'm not going to say what I've heard, but no. No.
Yeah.
I was told something in confidence. We're going to leave it that way.
Yeah.
But trust me, there was no favors there. Wasn't very helpful. They were just incompatible. They weren't trying to play the same game.
Right.
Take the strikeouts along with Jack. I don't want strikeouts from everybody in my lineup. I'll take them from a couple guys if it can hit them home runs. If he can hit 25 to 30 home runs, I'll take the strikeouts.
Here's the thing. 30. Well, what would you say? 32%?
It was around there. 30, 32%. Right?
31, 32, 33. Just get it to 28.
Yeah.
And I'm happy.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I'm not trying to get it. 19 that's crazy. That's good.
Wow.
Crazy good.
Yeah.
But if it's not going to work for you as a hitter, then just try to cut it back to 20. Get it in the 20s.
The thing is it's just
28, 29%, and just cut out some of your strikeouts. Then I don't think it would affect you as much.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. Hey, Pit City, what? I'm going to have to fix my featured chat on here so I can get... This one isn't going to fit, I don't think. See, we're going to get cut off here. But Mike says Scott Boras Revenge Tour. He's going to play the Mets and Yankees against each other for Soto and Alonso. Because who doesn't get one will probably get the other. That's what the rest of that says. But Ron is finally here live again. And coincidentally, neither one of us have a root beer tonight. I still have some in my fridge, but because of my head cold, I didn't think it was the smartest thing to do. So
I ran out.
Yeah, Jake ran out, but
if there's root beer in my house, I drink it. So
right, I have been saving it for the recordings. So, but yeah, not all of it, but mind you, we're almost out of those 1919s.
Yeah,
I've had a few of those. And they're just the little guys, but still. Anyway, yeah. Scott Boras either learned a lesson or you're right. It's a revenge tour. So, that's going to be something. We're going to see that. I think there's a little bit of learned your lesson there. I think he'll be motivated because that's it. I think he'll be motivated to, don't leave us. I think he'll be motivated to move Soto quicker than you think.
Yeah.
And I think that's learn your lesson type thing. But to what Mike said, like he still could do that, but I think it'll be early.
Yeah.
But
I think that was my prediction a few weeks ago.
You did. You said it'd be early. You said, what was your actual, you said by winter meetings, he'd be gone.
Well,
like the deal would be done at winter meetings, right?
Yeah. I kind of figure he'll probably get something done at the winter meeting.
Well, they're already teams supposedly supposed to make offers to him this week. So
final interviews at the winter meetings.
Maybe. Or maybe there's a team who hasn't made an offer or who hasn't met with him yet that's still willing to make an offer. I don't know.
Yeah.
The Pirates haven't had a meeting with him yet. So whenever the Pirates are like, they can't make their offer till they have a meeting with him.
Right.
We're not putting that one on the screen, Ron. I knew I was going to get one of those coughs in without hitting the mute.
All right.
Anyway, let's get into the next thing here because I think there's an actual conversation to be had, Jake, about Roki Sasaki and whether the Pirates should be targeting him or not.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no reason that everybody isn't in on this.
Right.
To be honest.
Yeah, the thing with Roki Sasaki is that he's 25 is the cutoff for you to be like a Yamamoto where it's just 300 million, sign it, right? And he's under that, which means he's treated like any other international free agent, and he would have to sign before December 15th, or he has to wait until January 15th. A lot of speculation has come on that about the Dodgers having the most pool available before December 15th. But they're kind of saying that like Sasaki probably is more motivated to wait until the January 15th, because then every team has their full 2025 international pool money available. And so if you're not familiar with that, basically you only get so much per year. It's a hard cap. You cannot go over that. And when we get to January 15th, there's always a lot of them because they have all these verbal agreements that they sign. And then they, once they sign all their players, they got whatever left over for the rest of the year. But all the big fish all come out on the 15th because everybody's already ready to sign.
Yeah.
And in this case, all those verbal agreements are at risk. So there's a couple ways that you could go about this conversation. If he waits till then you have, talk about how long you have while I breathe. Because like we talked about the posting date and all that stuff.
Yeah. So like when they post him, he'll have 45 days to sign with a major league club. If he doesn't sign with a major league club, I believe they keep him for another year. And but it's gonna be like a rookie deal. Like when you sign him, you're gonna have him for 6 years, the whole shebang, and you're not gonna have to pay him a ton of money. His largest signing bonus is gonna be a few $1 million. Like every team should be in on him. It's like you said, there's handshake deals and stuff that's your risk.
Right. So there is a stopping time, right? So let's say, I think if you say that if they give him an opportunity before December, let's say December 1st, they say, all right, we're posting him. And you got 45 days. I guess would that be cutting it awful close?
Mm-hmm.
He'd only have a day or two to sign.
Yeah.
So let's say they wait a little bit. It doesn't matter however long they wait to post him. Then what you're doing is, let's say, okay, well, he only has till January 20th anyway. So you're in like a 5, which you don't have to be in a 5-day window. Like you can still talk to him before then and they can figure it out. So really it could be January 18th and it'd be long enough to say, or you got a 3-day window. Everybody's coming hard. But like essentially it's going to take most of your pool money to get a guy like this. But you understand the difference, like what you were saying, where you only get 6 years. He's on his rookie contract. He'll get paid per year what everyone else gets paid per year. But this is a major league ready arm who is projected to be like a front of the rotation ace. But this is like Skeen's got a signing bonus when he got drafted too. That's what this is. So like, let's say that I don't know what the Pirates number is. I'm sure Ethan knows, but whatever the Pirates number is, they could go all the way to that. And then all those handshake deals, you lose them. So if you're committing all that, you may wait to sign some of your young guys until after that, let's, hypothetical 18th or 20th, whatever it ends up being, until you find out if you got him. But if it's 5 days, well, some of your guys might have already been swept up by another team.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of a risk there. If you don't know what's going on by the 15th, maybe you pull your name out of the hat so that you can get something. If you like some of the guys that you have committed to and you're not going to be able to afford to get them, because you could push forward and do this thing for, I think the most is like 7 million. We looked it up. I don't remember what it was, like 7.6 million or something like that is the highest pool.
Something like that, yeah.
I told you I was going to leave that page open, so I still have it open. And it was telling us what the pool money is a range of, like lowest to highest team. So that's what I was going to look and see. It's 5.1 and 7.6. So like that's the bottom and the top of what's available. And each team has a little bit different amount available. So let's say the Pirates are somewhere around that top of that. You know what I mean? If they are, that's going to be enticing. Like, hey, you can come and join Paul Skeens and Jared Jones and Mitch Keller and Bubba Chandler. And oh my gosh, imagine those
That'd
four
be
guys.
crazy.
So Skeens, Jones, Keller, Roki, and Chandler. Imagine that. And you still have Ortiz. You still have, Falter for what it's worth, right? Going into this year. You have Oviedo coming back at some point early, it seems like. You've got Chandler and Harrington waiting, pushing to get there. You've got Ashcraft, who's close.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a number of guys that maybe that makes you say, maybe not. But this guy's different, man.
Yeah, he'd be right there beside Paul Skeens. Like,
they're saying
Skeens,
better than
Roki.
Yamamoto.
Yeah, it'd be like our rotation was Skeens, Roki, Jones, Keller. Like, Keller's your 4 guy,
or Jones is your 4 guy. One or the
Jones
other.
Jones is 4 guy, but still, yeah, I'd take Mitch Keller as my 3 guy even.
Just imagine right now that however this offseason goes, you have Skeens, Roki, Keller, Jones, Bubba. Put Falter in there and run a 6-man. Like, put Ortiz in there, run a 6-man. Oviedo eventually. Like, you've got a lot of options, and that's what you need at starting pitcher.
Yeah.
You need a lot of options. I'm sorry, if I got that rotation, man, I don't mind going 6.
Yeah, to a point. I think I'd still throw Skeens every 5 days.
Well, I think that's kind of the idea, though. If there's anybody there who there's a case for running and throwing him literally every 5 days, it's Mitch Keller. Because I'm not worried as much about his workload because he's shown he can do it before. And it might have actually been a little bit harder on him not to throw more. Maybe knocked him off rhythm every once in a while. But I'm not committed to that.
I want Skeens on the mound every 5 days. I'm not worried about his workload. He managed it last year. He's fine.
Well, but he never pitched on 4 days rest. And he still hasn't, ever. Right? Once a week in college. Once he got to the majors, he never pitched on 4 days rest.
Really?
Yeah. That was the whole thing. That was they were not going to do that. 5 days every time. That's why we were running a 6-man or a bullpen game and all those things, because they refused.
That was just at the end of the year.
That was the whole time. And they will, and they could do it again if, think about this, if Bubba Chandler pulls a Jared Jones and is on this roster on opening day. And I'm telling you right now, there's a good chance of that. Dude's a stud.
Yeah.
The stuff is up there that in 2 years, he's even above Jared Jones in the rotation. Dude, this rotation could be scary.
Yeah. Yeah, it really could be.
You've got to put some bats in this lineup. And you have a bona fide ace out there that you could just get for on the cheap. They have to be involved in this.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm all in if it's me. This dude's a season changer.
And then for the next 5 or 6 seasons.
Yeah.
Because you're running into the same exact thing.
Yeah. You're going to have those 4. You're going to have that whole rotation for years.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then it opens you up, Jake, to saying if you got a team calling on Luis Ortiz, to go ahead and move Luis Ortiz.
Yeah.
If you got a team calling, you know me, like it's all personal, right? You know me, I'm not moving Chandler or Harrington. Those are the 2 guys I'm not moving. But in a couple of years, will I move Mitch Keller? Yeah. If I could get the right bat this year, Jake, and I was in on Roki, I'd make a move on Jared Jones. If I could get the right bat in return for Jared Jones, if I could work out a deal with Baltimore to get one of their guys to play outfield for us, I'd make that move.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I need offense, and if I'm in on Roki and I can get Roki, I'm moving that.
If you get Roki, not if you're in on him.
Sure.
You get him.
Maybe you talk to that team and you say, hey, you want us to get Roki because if we get Roki, you get Jared. And then, that team's going to be like, I'm getting Roki. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
There's no reason why every team is not in on this.
Right.
There's just no reason.
I was saying, you got to get him before I'm trading from that rotation.
All right. So let's do a couple wild things here. We already said let's go get Roki. That might sound a little bit wild. I just made a statement that says let's trade Jared Jones. Let's throw some money. We got two guys right now. Let's throw some money at Paul Skeens and O'Neal Cruz, and let's get something worked out long term. That sound crazy? Is there any way possible you could get an extension with Skeens?
I think Skeens is going to be hard because
no kidding, but
I didn't even get to say my whole
No,
thought.
I know, but yeah,
he's going to be hard to get because he's Paul Skeens. I get that, but I'm just saying, also at his age, you're prolonging his free agency into 30 almost.
That's okay. I think that makes sense.
Most guys want to hit the free agency before 30.
I think it's wild if you can hit free agency before 30. I don't think that's on the normal. I think 30, 31 is your usual. Like, you got to understand, most guys aren't making it up before they're 24.
Okay, so we're talking about Paul Skeens. I assumed we were all talking about phenoms.
Okay.
So they all try to get to free agency before they turn 30.
Which he's still, yeah. But it's not like you'd be taking him into like 33, right? Because he was here at 22, right?
22? I was 22 or 23. Yeah. I'm terrible with that stuff, dude.
Yeah. He's still 22.
Yeah. So, 6 years, he's 28. So if you can buy out 2 years, it's 30 years old.
He got here.
Normally what you can try to do for, a guy like that is buy out 2 years of free agency.
Yeah. He got here right before his 22nd birthday. So then you're saying, like, at this point, you're saying he's a free agent. Usually it says that, right? $29. You could extend that a couple of years. I don't know if Paul Skeens is a guy you do that with, though. I think it's a guy you do for like I think you offer a 10-year deal. You don't just buy out 2 years of free agency for a guy like Paul Skeens. I think you do it.
Hey, I'd be all in for it. I don't know.
Yeah.
That would be ponying up.
Well, yeah. But
big time.
So, but to be fair, they have shown that they're willing to spend money on those types of extensions more than free agency.
Yeah.
And also you wonder, like, if their development and whatever in the pitching, it's not Paul Skeens. You're never going to get another Paul Skeens more than likely, right?
Right.
But you could still continue to be a super competitive team with a rotation without Paul Skeens in it.
Yeah.
It's not like well, he's gone, we're done. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I see a lot of that as like, well, once Paul Skeens is gone, we're not going to be good anymore. Well, you still got Harrington, you've still got, Chandler, you still got, Jones will be gone too, essentially. but like there's others on the way. You know what I mean? And there's still more guys.
Right.
And you still got Solomino and Hunter Barco, and there'll be others too. And others too. You guys got to see Almost Heroes. So anyway, the thing is like, if you go after those two, after next year, you're never signing Paul Skeens. Not without a big, big, big amount of money. He's got 2 years still of making less than $1 million.
Yeah.
If you could pay him $15 million for the next 2 years, imagine what you've done to like say, look what we did. How much can you pay that back later in giving us a $14 million discount when you hit free agency? Because we gave you the money early, right? So instead of him making $30 million, he's still making 20. You know what I mean?
The reverse of what the Dodgers are doing.
Like what? Yeah, but this is why you do it. This is why you do the extensions early, right? So you can pay the player now money that he would have gotten later and not now. Like if you just pay him less than $1 million the next 2 years, then, you know, now you hit arbitration and you're going to have to pay him arbitration stuff.
Yeah.
And so you got those types of situations where if you can level that thing out and say, we're going to overpay you for the next 2 years and the first year of arbitration, you'll come right in where you're supposed to be your last 2 years of arbitration. And then your first 2 or 3 years of free agency will get a little bit of a discount because we gave you this commitment, right? And that's how these things work. And so that's what you'd like to see. If you could get him for around 20 to 25 million in his free agent years, he's getting like a $10 million or so discount, maybe more than that. But at least you can say like, all right, we're going to do this. We're going to sign this extension. We're going to pay you now because you know he's worth the money now.
Yeah.
I think it's literally doable. I don't think it's insane. The question is, how can you get away with it? And then what happened? Then all you have to do as the Pirates, right, is you wait until you have 1 year left on that deal and you trade him and get a huge haul for him. You have to do it that way.
Right.
So if they sign a 7-year extension, keeping him here for 8 years, you're going to basically have him for 7 years because you must move him. You have, if the Pirates don't trade him, it's a mistake. And I know everybody's saying you don't trade a guy like that, but yes, you absolutely do.
Yeah, you have to. You just have to wait until he's last year. You do not trade him now.
Right. And I think if you go, so, you know, whatever, they probably don't get it done, right? He's a guy that'll bet on himself.
Yeah.
Even though pitchers are kind of silly to do that, especially if it's not a 10-year deal where you're getting a discount for 4 or 5 years, right? But if it's like a 2 or 3 year discount by paying it forward, I think as a pitcher, you'd sign up for that. You never know what's going to happen.
Right.
That's going to be a boatload of money. As far as Cruz, he has not had his year yet.
Right.
So there's 2 thoughts here, and I'd like to know yours. Are you waiting to see if he does break out? Or are you trying to get out ahead of it and hope it doesn't turn into another Polanco situation?
That's the first thing that come to my mind, right? Is Polanco.
Right.
I don't see him being a Polanco type, but I mean, there's no guarantee it won't be. I think I got to see another year before I hand him an extension.
So the problem is if he hits 40 home runs this year, he's now outpriced himself and you won't be able to get it done.
Right.
Because he's going to be sitting in arbitration, coming off a 40 homer a year, even 30 plus, Jake. All of a sudden, he's got 3 arbitration years and he's gone. He knows he's only got 2 years here, and then you have to trade him.
Yeah.
You cannot let guys like that go for free. Right. You have to trade them, which is why the Pirates are so specific, and other teams, on extending young players. And like I said, when we have special players, the Pirates extend them. They've shown that. So
I'd love to see him extend him, but it's just a risk.
And do you think he's going to say, let's wait till next year, betting on himself that if he hits big, then now his long-term contract is going to be even more?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't. That's a question I can't answer. I don't know the guy.
It's a hypothetical, Jake. Just have fun with it. I know we don't know.
If you're a dude in the major leagues, like you're betting on yourself every day.
That's a really good point. All those guys will bet on themselves.
Yeah. It's tough. How can you? It's a very tough hypothetical for me because that's the way I feel, the way I see it. Like if I'm in the major leagues, I'm betting on myself.
Yeah, Ron says Polanco wasn't a Polanco type until he was. Yeah, I mean, the thing is like you go into this and you say, oh, well, Cruz made it up here. He broke his leg. And it was like, oh, crap. And then he comes back and it's that the whole season last year, it's like, oh, he's still coming back from this. So, we give him a pass on some things, right? So we say, he's still coming back at least, until midway through the year. Then it was like, all right, dude, get this thing figured out. Oh, too many errors. Now he has to move. We could have had all that stuff done the year before that.
Yeah.
And instead, we're still there, right? And then, then fast forward. And now all of a sudden you go into this next year and it's like, okay, instead of 24 being his breakout year, now it's going to be 25. Right? So now we wait for 25. What if he gets injured again? And then all of a sudden we're like, crap, now he's got to come back from an injury again. And then you're looking for this guy not to break out until like the year before free agency.
Yeah.
And then if you were Polanco, if you're looking back at Polanco, he was signed to that extension. And at that point, like what happens to the player? What happens? You know what I'm saying? Like where does it go from here to where you say like, oh crap, we spent all this money on this guy. And what if he just never works out? We don't really know long-term if this guy can play outfield. If he can't, he's a DH type. At least he could do that. You couldn't do that with Polanco back then.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm all in on Cruz being a center fielder and a good one. I feel like he's going to break out sooner rather than later as far as a hitter. So if I'm the Pirates, I'm trying to get him on the deal, trying to sign him.
Mm-hmm.
But also if I'm Cruz, I'm like, I don't know, if I stick this out one more year, that deal might improve a lot because I'm about to break this out.
You're going to give him good enough money because you're saying you believe in him, right? So if as the Pirates, you'd be giving him money saying, we think you're a starting center fielder who can hit 30 homers. That's the money you got to give him. Now, pre-free agency money, so there's still a discount involved as far as like what you'd get on the free agent market, right? It's not like you've got to go immediately to 200 million. You know what I mean?
Right.
But, when you look at it that way and then you say, well, what if he turns out being a terrible fielder and still a 20 plus homer guy? Then, you just overpaid a little bit.
Yeah.
So if you're Cruz, you're saying, or I could wait another year and run the risk of getting paid less. Or at that point, you don't extend him. Because now you're like, now we got to let this thing play out.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't work next year, I'm not signing it as a team. But then at the same time for the Pirates, like what you kind of hope he turns into is that 40 homer guy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is not crazy to believe that he could do that multiple years. Yeah, it's real interesting. I think you could see something done where there's a couple years bought out for a player like him who just hasn't seen it happen yet. I think it's worth it to get your money.
Yeah.
And then test it later.
It's but that's also the other thing with him. He might think, well, I could get hurt again.
Well,
if they're going to offer this, if they're going to offer me this, I'll take it.
Right. Yeah. So that'd be interesting. And then also Paul Skeens, I see Dave says I'd wait another year on Skeens. but Cruz should be extended now. And then Moran says, I think Skeen signing long-term depends on what the Pirates do this year. So if you mean like wins and losses, I don't know how that really plays.
I think he means like, what are we trying to make the team better? Are we making moves? Are we signing?
So like you're saying, if we commit a lot of money to this year, we wouldn't want to commit extra money for Skeens too. You think?
He's saying would Skeens want to sign the deal?
Oh wait, here you go. Oh geez, this thing. Okay, I'll have to read it from this page. By this year, I mean depending on who they sign or trade for this offseason will determine if Skeens wants to sign an extension. Okay, I could see that.
Yeah.
So there is a few things to play here because you could say like, well, if they do go out and spend money and they might want to maybe wait on paying a lot for Skeens for a couple of years, they might save it by paying him less and paying somebody else in place of him because, you know, they got to have there's a ceiling to what they'll spend, to what he'll be allowed to spend. But then there's also the thought where it's like, Skeens, I think, would have to. So in this case, you're saying like, I have to believe that they can win. Right now, I think he believes they can win. I don't think he's blowing smoke.
Yeah.
The guys in that clubhouse believe that the guys in that clubhouse can get it done.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I think I don't know that there's a whole lot. I mean, I think as a pitcher, I don't know that there's a whole lot. I think if somebody throws money at you, I think you take it.
Never know what's going to happen to the arm.
You just never know as a pitcher. You just don't. I think you take the money. You know you're worth it now to get paid the same amount now as you're getting paid in 5 years. Like if it's worth it, right? So like it's not crazy to see him make $15 million in 2025. He'll pitch good enough to make $15 million.
Oh yeah.
He'll pitch better than that.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about that. Like sometimes they're like, oh, 8 million this year, 10 million. You know, it's going to keep going up. I just think you say, load that thing at 15 right now.
Yeah.
And then that way it doesn't have to keep going that far up later on.
Yeah.
Well, what they did with Key is they paid him more early. And now it's down a level. It's 3 million less than when he signed it now. But yeah, I don't know. That's really interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how they go about that.
Yeah.
Sherrod asked, is he Super 2? If so, that's 2 years of minimal. And right. So then he would be hitting, he'd be hitting free agency. It's not 2 years of less than $1 million. He'd be hitting arbitration, not just after this year, if he's Super 2. So that's a good point too. So I've said he's making less than $1 million for the next 2 years. That might not be the case. If he's Super 2, it's only one more year. Fair point there. Thanks for calling that out. I actually don't know off the top of my head if he's Super 2 or not. But I don't know, man. Hey, it's a really boring off season right now, Jake.
I think it'll get better once we hit the winter meetings.
It will, but we've still got a couple weeks there before we hit that. So I think that's about it. But we're gonna shut this thing down. I don't know if we're gonna have a show later this week or not. It is Thanksgiving when we normally do it. I don't foresee us having a show on Thanksgiving. I believe I'm gonna be on the road driving home. If there is a chance I'm home by 9:00, I don't even know if you're available at 9:00. I don't know what we're doing. So if by chance I'm going to be home by 9:00 and there's something to talk about, I may schedule something and go. And then if Jake can be there, you can be there. If not, I'll do a short show or something like that. But, otherwise, well, for sure, because we're not going to talk to you guys before Thanksgiving. So have a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy all your food.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe there are some people here who've been listening for a long time. I do believe that I'm going to Thanksgiving this year. This will be my first one in 4 years. Is that right? 20. Oh, well, yeah, because I had COVID.
2021.
Yeah, because I had COVID over Thanksgiving, and then I've had this parosmia post-COVID stuff ever since. I don't know what it's going to be like. It still smells terrible. I'm a little bit nervous about it if you want me to be transparent right now. But I believe as of right now, I'm planning on going, so we shall see.
Yeah.
But this might be wild. I don't know what it's like to go to Thanksgiving.
No ping pong anymore. I'll break it to you.
Well, for sure. I knew that. But all right, man. Well, we will see. We'll see what happens, but we may miss. We may not do it, and we may just wait till next Sunday. Either way, have a great Thanksgiving. Drink some root beer, Ron.
Yeah.
Sherrod, there he is. Sherrod says live stream with apple pie and root beer. There you go. We'll have something like that. We'll see. We'll see if we do or not. I mean,
yeah.
So
we'll see.
Let's get some music. Let's play it. Let's get out of here. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys. We will see you next time. I don't know when that is. Let's go Bucks.
Go Bucks.
Thanks for listening to my dad and Uncle Jake on the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Bridge2Buctober. Don't forget to subscribe so you know when new episodes are released. Clear the deck, cannonball coming, and let's go Bucks.